Just about 2 months ago, I was in Russia and I presented KABIR and Sri Aurobindo there at several places, and many people had not ever heard of him, but so deeply touched by the elegance of his insights. So today I'm happy to share with you, and I'm very delighted to my young friends, musicians, Varun and Anushka are here to also be part of this presentation. Now I say this a celebration of divine love, and especially this is 150th anniversary of Sri Aurobindo's birthday, so I say this in the light and words of Sri Aurobindo, because Sri Aurobindo in several of his writings have commented and written about KABIR. And I'm trying to share with you, I will try to share with you how and when and in what manner and how it is conveyed. So it's a presentation at many levels. So first one here. Firstly, just some of you may not know, just a short introduction about KABIR. KABIR lived about 500 years ago. We are not entirely certain when. And he lived in the north part of India, near Varanasi, the holy city of Varanasi. And he came to this day still a debate, was he a Hindu or was he a Muslim? Still, debate continues. He himself said, Hindu to main hu nahi, Musalman bhi nahi. I'm not a Hindu or a Muslim. But people debated about him. Who was he? Where was he? He certainly was a weaver, a julaha. And the julahas in Indian tradition some 500 years ago were at the very lowest rung of the social and caste ladder, almost an outcast. And julahas were also thought of being not very bright people, so there are all kinds of jokes about them. And so he lived at the margin of the society. It is also said that he was not, all these hundreds of songs and couplets that are attributed to him, they were not written by him. He did not know how to read and write. He was completely unlettered. Not uneducated, but unlettered. And so it was incredible that a person who had not read Upanishads or Vedas or the Gita, or had no knowledge, literal knowledge of any of the scriptures, had such incredible knowledge. And so people mocked him. Brahmins, the Pandits, the scholars mocked him. How can a man of such claim to have knowledge, spiritual knowledge? And he in turn, what makes him very special, he in turn mocked them. That you only quote the scriptures, I say what I have seen. मैं कहता आंखों की देखी, तू कहता पोथी की लेखी. I say only what I have seen with my own eyes, but you keep quoting the books. I say he is everywhere, but you keep hiding him in the scriptures. How can our paths cross? So he said, मैं कहता आंखों की देखी, तू कहता पोथी की लेखी. मैं कहता सिरझा बनहारी, तू राखे और झाई रे. तेरा मेरा मिलन कैसे एक हो गए? I say he's everywhere, but you keep hiding in the scriptures. How can our paths cross? So he had the daring, what makes him KABIR very special, what makes him so lovable, so admired to this day by young people, by leftists, by the liberals, by the Marxists, all kind of people who say he had the daring to challenge the orthodoxy of Hindus and Muslims of his times. And to this day, he's quoted in that context. So he's a very special man from that point of view. So here then, this particular quotation which I share with you is here written here. Kabira yeh ghar prem ka, Kabira yeh ghar prem ka, khala ka ghar nahi. Kabira yeh ghar prem ka, khala ka ghar nahi. शीश उतारे हति करी, शीश उतारे हति करी, so paise ghar mahi. Say this universe is the temple of love. It is not a house of pleasure. This universe is a temple of love. It is not a house of pleasure. if you dare to, if you must let your ego go if you dare to enter here. And this ego dependent, his whole thrust, which I will share with you presently, his whole thrust, how to move from the self-centeredness to discover the center of the self. From the self-centeredness to discover the center of the self. So, Kabira, this universe is a temple of love. It is not a house of pleasure. So, again and again, this is the thrust of his poetry, his verses. That is really, they're all love poetry, and love poetry for the divine. And what makes it special is that I share it with you in the words and some of the writings and light of Sri Aurobindo. And that is what makes it very special, today's session. So, Sri Aurobindo wrote one piece. If you don't know it, I urge you to read it. It's called The Mystery of Love. And it is in his book called The Synthesis of Yoga. It's not a very long essay, but absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Beautifully written and very insightful. And the first time I read it, some many years ago, that is what made me discover Kabir. That is, I say, I discovered Kabir through Sri Aurobindo. And I discovered him in Canada. I have lived in Canada for many years. I was a professor there. And I discovered him through Sri Aurobindo. No, I, like all people in North India, I've come from Punjab. All people studying in North India, in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, UP, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, all of us learn Kabir in our grade 7, 8 classes. So did I. But it didn't do very much. You don't understand the depth of it. So for me, it is an incredible discovery to rediscover him much later, some 25 years later, and discovered him through the words of Sri Aurobindo, through this essay called The Mystery of Love. So what makes it special, this word, I'll share with you some of the words of Sri Aurobindo, and then share with you some of the couplets and writings of Kabir. So he says, love and ananda. Love and ananda are the last word of being, the secret of secrets, the mystery of mysteries. This is from his essay called The Mystery of Love. There is nothing which is beyond the reach of the God lover or denied to him, for he is the favorite of the divine lover and the self of the beloved. So Kabir is a lover of the divine, and so this is what Sri Aurobindo is alluding to. So here it is not possible for the tongue of the human speech to tell all the utter unity and all the eternal variety of the ananda of divine love. Our higher and our lower members are both flooded with it. The mind and life no less than the soul. Even the physical body takes its share of the joy, feels the touch, is filled in all its limbs, veins, nerves with the flowing of the wine of the ecstasy, Amrita. Love and Ananda are the last word of being, the secret of secrets, the mystery of mysteries. So this is in a way, and then later on, he refers to a number of great bhaktas, great devotees in India. Kabir is one of the many in the country. There is a whole tradition in Tamil Nadu here called Alvars, tradition going back to the 8th century, who are great devotees and sing of love, divine love in poetry, remarkable poetry. So is true in Madhya Pradesh, in Maharashtra, in Rajasthan, in Bengal. So there's a whole tradition, and Kabir is one of them. But what makes him special, that he challenges the hypocrisy that surrounds in the name of God and the name of religion. So here then, I read this again. Love comes to us in many ways. It may come as an awakening to the beauty of the lover, by the sight of an ideal face, an image of him, by his mysterious hints to us of himself behind the 1,000 faces of things in the world. by a slow or sudden need of the heart, by a vague thirst of the soul, by the sense of someone near us, drawing us or pursuing us with love, or with someone blissful and beautiful whom we must discover. So many ways of this whole idea of discovery of love. Love is the most used word in all languages, and it's a term, emotion that we all talk about, know about, but its mystery in a way it still eludes us. It's the grandness, what it's all about. So these three words, Satchitananda, is that in a way the essence of all Upanishadic knowledge. Satchitananda. What is consciousness? What is awareness? And what joy does it lead to? What ecstasy does it lead to? So here then, I'm just quickly going to go over this quickly so that we can move to the trinity of Satchitananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. These are everywhere the three inseparable divine terms. When we find see or know Chitta, we find also that its essence is Ananda, joy, or delight of self-existence. These are three terms, Satchitananda. All Indian darshanics, philosophers, are really in a way discovering the nature of joy, Ananda. In the Western world, we rarely see a philosopher who is happy. They all seem remorse and unhappy and depressed. But in India, you cannot call anybody a real philosopher, a darshanik, unless he or she knows the secret of happiness, joy, Ananda. That is really knowledge, jnana, love should lead to joy, not to depression, unlike I see in many philosophers in the West. So we have to realize the true self of ourselves and of all. And to realize the true self is to realize Satchitananda. And Satchitananda, all three terms, Sat, sense, consciousness, and the joy, ecstasy. I'll read you, before I come to KABIR, I'll read you a couple of Sri Aurobindo's poems, which are very essential, integrated to KABIR. Much later, of course. KABIR lived 500 years ago. And Sri Aurobindo, this is the 150th anniversary. So they are apart by about 400 years. So here that famous poem by Sri Aurobindo, in the blue of the sky, in the green of the forest, whose is the hand that has painted the glow? When the winds were asleep in the womb of the ether, who was it that roused them and bade them to blow? And it's a long poem, but there's another part. All music is only the sound of his laughter. All beauty, the smile of his passionate bliss. Our lives are his heartbeats. Our rapture, the bridal of Radha and Krishna. Our love is their kiss. So I quote you because I feel it's a urge to discover the nature of love and spirit, not only in philosophy or spiritual pursuits, but also in science, more and more. And I wish to share with you that some of the people, my background is of a nuclear physics, so I'm drawn to discovering some of these insights from many scientists. I'll just share with you a few. And here is the great scientist, an anthropologist, an archaeologist, and here Pierre Chardin in his famous book called The Phenomenon of Man. And the famous line, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. What is the essence of humans? We are human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Then this one, I quote to you one of the great historians of science, an anthropologist, Lauren Eisner, and absolutely one of the great writers, one of my gurus. And a curator of Museum of Man in Philadelphia, in USA. And these lines are very important because he writes as an evolutionist. And very important lines. Man is born of love, and he exists by reason of a love more continuous than any other form of life. No creature in the world demands more love than man. No creature is less adapted to survive without it. So it's something that we need to be aware of, that more and more people, whether it's coming through evolution or archaeology or anthropology or even physics, discovering what is the nature of man, what is our goal, what is our essence. So these words, very important, have been quoted again and again hundreds of times all over the world. So that is, man is born of love. And here then is a line from one of the great poets of USA, Edna Vincent Miller. I'll just quote a few lines from a sonnet. It's called Love is not all. It is not meat, nor drink, nor slumber, nor a roof against the rain, nor yet a floating spar to men that sink and rise and sink and rise and sink again. Love cannot fill the thickened lung with breath, nor clean the blood, nor set the fractured bone. Yet many a man is making friends with death, even as I speak, for lack of love alone. Famous poet, a sonnet by Edna Vincent Miller. Some of the, here then, some of the lines from many traditions. And we are talking here in the, of course, Indian tradition, but it comes from Rumi, famous lines. In the mountain of your body there is a jewel, search for it. Love it, love is to see beyond what the eye sees. Again, I told him, burn me as much as you want, my remains will still smoke of your love. Again, Rumi, looking at my life I see that only love has been my soul's companion. From deep inside my soul cries out, do not wait, surrender for the sake of love. Many people think of Kabir as this person who followed Rumi, Jalaluddin Rumi. Some of you may be surprised that Jalaluddin Rumi, though born in Turkey and lived in Persia and Afghanistan, but he's the most loved and admired poet in the United States, in the West. He's loved and sung more than any American or English poet, and it's quoted extensively. So this is what I share with you. So I'll just quote just again Sri Aurobindo's A Yogi's Body, from his writings from the essays on the Bhagavad Gita. A yogi's body and mind are like an instrument of music, forever preparing itself for the divine music to emanate. What is the yogi? So there is a lovely line, Laga lo mujhe adharon se apne. Oh my love, oh my Lord, touch me with your lips. So from a piece of bamboo, I become a flute. लगा लो मुझे अधरों से अपने कि मैं बांस से बांसुरी बन जाऊं. Now those of you who understand Hindi a bit, the word in Hindi, the word for bamboo is bans. And the word for bansuri is literally the rhythm of the bamboo, is bansuri. And that is the flute. So he says, beautiful, simple two lines, लगा लो मुझे अधरों से अपने. Oh my beloved, touch me with your lips. So from a piece of bamboo, I become a flute. लगा लो मुझे अधरों से अपने कि मैं बांस से बांसुरी बन जाऊं. So these are some of the other great devotees, singers of the divine love. It's the Meera or Chaitanya or Guru Nanak in Punjab, or many, and Maharashtra and South India. Many sants all over the country. Maybe that is something very grand about Indian culture, Indian tradition. That it has discovered, it has given fertile ground for people to flourish and then to admire them, to adore them, to appreciate them, and to take that vision forward as an essential part of human discovery. These are some of the ones. I won't spend much time. Then there is a line from Albert Einstein. He's one of my gurus. He says, matter is energy, and energy is light. We are all light beings. And this is a picture here on the left. You see a picture of Albert Einstein with Rabindranath Tagore in 1928. I am in the midst of writing a dialogue, an imaginary dialogue between Sri Aurobindo and Einstein, an encounter of science and spirit. So here is really Einstein. What makes it very special, I want to tell you the story quickly so we can move on. The Einstein was a little child. He lived in Switzerland, in Zurich. He saw streetcars or trams, and he used to wonder, what would the world look like if I was riding a streetcar, a tram, which moved with the speed of light? His whole theory of relativity, in a way, is saying how things change when things are coming close to the speed of light. And then I wrote, as Sri Aurobindo says in my dialogue that I'm writing, I said, not only what would the world look like when riding a beam of light, what would the world look like if I became the beam of light? If I became the beam of light. So it is really light as a way of encountering the universe. So I just now then move on to Kabir. His words are translated. I have translated Kabir into English, and also based on my English translation. Now he's been translated into 10 other languages here in Norway, in European and Asian languages. So he says, drink with love. Drink with love, drunk with love am I, O beloved. Pour on, pour on. The vessel of the world is empty. It holds not a drop of love, but my beloved is within, nourishing me forever and ever. Ah, what a joy, what a joy. So now I will share with you some of the couplets of Kabir. Kabir is known for his couplets, even though he wrote many songs as well, but couplets is what made him famous. Couplets, just 2 lines. But for me, they are like mathematical equations. Within 2 simple lines, there's so much knowledge, so much wisdom. So here I share with you, he makes love so sensuous. Nanan antaravatu, tu hi nain japehu. Nanan antaravatu, tehu nain japehu. Maan dekhun kisi aur ko, na tujhe dekhan dehu. He says, with thy light, O my beloved, come into my eyes. I shall adore you forever. To hold you as my very own, I shall lower my eyelids, so you won't look at another, and I shall behold only you. Nainayantar avatu, tehu nain japehu, na main dekhu kisi aur ko, na tujhe dekhan dehu. And these are some of the most well-recited poems and couplets all the time. He says, Priyatama ko patiyan likhu. I write letters to my beloved as though he lived far in another land. Oh, how I forget that he lives here, in my eyes, in my heart, receiving messages of my love at all times. Priyatama ko patiyan likhu. Priyatama ko patiyan likhu, jo koi hoye videsh. As though he lived far in another land. Oh, how I forget that he lives here in my eyes, in my heart. Priyatama ko patiyan likhu, jo koi hoye videsh. Nan mein, tan mein, tan mein, taako kaha sandesh. Receiving messages of my love at all times. This use of eyes, the eyes as a way of, Kabir does it again and again. Many references to water, to eyes, to bamboo, to soil, because he's a man of the soil. He's a weaver, a marginalized person. So he refers to the world around him and makes everything ordinary into something extraordinary. What is mundane becomes sacred in a sense. He says, "Nainana ki karu kothari." I shall make my eyes into a bridal chamber. I shall make my eyes into a bridal chamber. In the pupil of my eye, I shall lay the bridal bed. I'll use my eyelashes like silken curtains, and there I shall endear my beloved. Nainana ki karu kothari, putli palang bichhaun. Nainana ki karu kothari, putli palang bichhaun. Palakan ki chikadari ki, piya ko le rijhaun. I'll use my eyelashes like silken curtains, and there I'll endear my beloved. Very sensuous, very as though it's personal. Now Kabir had he's not addressing his to any god, any name. Though sometimes he calls Rama, sometimes Hari. But he says again and again that my Rama is not the son of Dasharatha. He's not from Ramayana. He's not a person from the Ramayana. And so he's their name. He's called Nirakar. There's no person's name. Unlike many other bhaktas who would address him to Krishna, like Meera, or like Shiva, addressed him to Shiva, or to Kali. So he's this completely Nirakar, without any special name, even though he uses the word Ram. So here then, again, आठ जाम चौसठ घड़ी, आठ जाम चौसठ घड़ी, तू रहते तन जियो, निंदोया किया करूं, सब घट दे तू पियो. At all times, all around me, oh my beloved, I see your face. Why should I close my eyes to anything when your presence permeates everywhere? So again and again is the idea of not particular something particular, they're seeing it everywhere, every place. Jin pavan bhui bhure, jin pavan bhui bhure, jine desh videsh, piya milan jab hoya, angan bhaya videsh. In search of my beloved, oh dear friends, I wandered all over the earth, in far and distant lands, but now on meeting with him, my own courtyard became the universe. This whole idea of the idea of the presence of God, of the beloved. Then, as I said, Kabir, this one on the cross. Kabira khada bazar mein liye lukate haat, jo ghar jale apna wahi chalaye hamare saath. This is on the crossroads of life. Kabir stands with the raging flame of love in his hand. Oh dear friend, if you seek to follow me, you must set your house on fire. He's challenging with the whole idea. We have built a house of comfort, of desires, of not courage, not daring. So he says, Kabira khada bazar mein. On the crossroads of life, Kabir stands with the torch of love in his hands. If you dare to follow me, you must set your house on fire. Piya chahe prem ras, rakha chahe maan, ek myan mein do khadag, are dekha sunana khan. Love you seek, O pilgrim, love you seek, yet pride you don't let go. Love and pride, can they really coexist? Two swords and one sheath. Who has ever heard of such an absurd thing? Again, the idea of abandon, idea of letting ego go. And this is the essence of Kabir's vision. Again and again, we see it. Again, where Kabir challenges the hypocrisy, he saw it all over in Varanasi at that time, as we see it in all over the world, how in the name of religion and God, so much exploitation goes on. So he says, if by shaving one's head you could see the face of God, how easy it would be. See how often a sheep is shorn, how far from heaven it is. Munda mundaye hari mila, munda mundaye hari mila, to sabko ile mundaye. If by shaving your head you could see the face of God, how easy it would be. If munda mundaye hari mila, तो सब कोई ले मुंडाए, बार बार के मुंडते भेड़ न बेकुंठ जाए. Look at a sheep, how often it is shorn and how far from heaven it is. Yeah, this one again is Karma to mala phirai. You see the beads move in your hand, your tongue moves in your mouth, your mind wanders all over the earth. Oh, my friend, don't fool yourself. Oh, my friend, don't fool yourself. This is no way to seek the beloved. Karma to mala phirai, jeeva phirai mukh mahi. Karma to mala phirai, jeeva phirai mukh mahi. Manva to chahun deshi phirai. Arey yeh to suman nahi. This is no way to seek the beloved. With your mind, the beads move in your hand, your tongue moves in your mouth, your mind wanders all over the earth. Oh, my friend, don't fool yourself. This is no way to seek the beloved. So he says again, मैं घर जाले अपना लिए मुरादे हाथ अब घर जालूं तो ना दिए चले हमारे साथ. Again, he challenges all that are near him. I have set my house on fire as I carry this flame of love. Oh, dear friend, if you choose to follow me, be warned, I shall burn your house to ashes too. And the whole idea of the burn the house, all the lethargy and the indolence and the selfishness. So he challenges it again and again. लाली मेरे लाल की जित देखूं तित लाल. लाली मेरे लाल की जित देखूं तित लाल. लाली देखन मैं भी हो गई लाल. I went for the light in search of my beloved. When I went searching for it, I too became part of that light. And the light of my beloved is spread everywhere. When I went searching for it, I too became part of that light. Lali mere lal ki jit dekhun tit lal. Lali dekhan मैं भी हो गई लाल. So again, जिन ढूंढा तिन पाया गहरे पानी पैठ. जिन ढूंढा तिन पाया गहरे पानी पैठ. मैं बोरन डरी रही किनारे बैठ. He says that pearl is deep in the water. Dive if you seek. The pearl is deep in the water. Dive if you seek. Oh, I was a scared old woman. I just sat at the shore, empty-handed. So, all the fears that so often engross us. He says, Jin dhunda tin paya gehre pani pet. The pearl is deep in the water. Dive if you seek. Oh, I was a scared old woman. I just sat on the shore, empty-handed. Jin dhunda tin paya gehre pani pet. Main boardin dari rahi kinare बैठ. So they say, Hari Rasi Yupiya. You see, he says like a gopi. We are a gopi of Krishna. You know, all the brides of Christ. You know, the idea of the union. So Hari Rasi Yupiya. Ki baki rahi na thak. So imbued am I with the love of the beloved that all my doubts are gone forever. Hari Rasi Yupiya ki baki rahi na thak. Paka kalash kumar ka chadya na duji bar. He says, so imbued am I with the love of the beloved that all my doubts are gone forever. A potter's bowl, once baked in the fire, is not turned on the wheel again. You see, I'm baked. So long as you're not baked, you're clay, you can turn it, mold it. You say, I'm baked. So really a union with the beloved has made you completely without any doubts, any ambivalence. Hari Rasi Yupiya ki baki rahi na thak. Paka kalash kumar ka chadya na duji bar. So imbued am I with the love of the beloved that all my ambivalence is gone forever. A potter's bowl once baked in the fire is not turned on the wheel again. This one, very famous, very beautiful, and Kabir, as I said, was completely unlettered. Yet he had an incredible sense of words. We don't know why and how it came. There is a Hindi word called manka, which means the beads in a rosary. It also means something belonging to the heart. Two words, two meanings. He uses the same word 5 times with different meaning. And then there is another word in two lines. So 2 words placed so much. One called fair, which is moving the beads. That's one called perna. And the other is called the wrinkles of your heart, crookedness of your heart. So he uses these 2 words. So manaka perat yug bhaya, gayana manaka per, karaka manaka chandike, are manaka per. Beautiful. One of the grandest pieces of poetry ever written. Manaka perat yug bhaya, gayana manaka per, karaka manaka chandike, manaka per. For years you've been moving the beads in your hand, yet nothing has moved in your heart. Oh, my friends, leave aside the beads. Open your hands. Let the heart turn. And again, manaka perat yug bhaya, gayana manaka per, karaka manaka chandike, manaka per. Leave aside the beads. Open your hands. Let the heart turn. And jab main tha, tab tu nahi, ab tu hai tu main nahi. When my ego was there, your face was hidden from me. When my ego was there, your face was hidden from me. Now that I see you, I'm no more I. He says, the path of love is much too narrow. 2 cannot walk here. Only one. Jab main tha, tab tu nahi, ab tu hai tu main nahi. Jab main tha, tab tu nahi, ab tu hai tu main nahi. Prem galiyati sankri, isma donahan samahi. The path of love is much too narrow. 2 cannot walk here. Only one. Jab main tha, tab tu nahi, ab tu hai tu main nahi. Prem galiyati sankri, isma donahan samahi. Isma donahan samahi. Tu karta tu bhaya, mujh pe rahi na hu. By calling your name, I forgot my own. Now all I see is you and you. Now what is remarkable about Indian spiritual poetry, that it also has impact on everyday life, on stories. There is a great story of love story from Punjab, Heer Ranjha. Famous story, and made into films, many plays. So Ranjha kardi, maybe Ranjha hoi. He says, he's saying, here is the girl, saying, calling his name, I too became Ranjha. Ranjha kardi, main bhi Ranjha hoi. Koi na aakho hi, mainu aakho Ranjha, koi na aakho hi. Just call me Ranjha, don't call me Heer anymore. She became Heer. So you see how it became part of popular songs and culture. So tu karata tu bhaya. By calling your name, I forgot my own. All I see now is you and you. So he says the whole idea of oneness, unity, that's an essential part of spiritual quest, unity, oneness. He says, unless you know the nature of one, what's the point of knowing the many? From one all are made. All do not make one. जब तक एक न जानिया तो बहु जानिया क्या होई? जब तक एक न जानिया, unless you know the nature of one, what's the point of knowing the many? From one, many are made, but all do not make one. See, जब तक एक न जानिया तो बहु जानिया क्या होई? एक तय सब होते हैं, सब तय एक न होई. There's a Sufi story about it, famous story. Somebody said, how is that possible? Because so much impact of Sufism, thought of Sufism on Kabir's poetry. So somebody said, so he said, all right, I'll give you a demonstration. You set up a little house, a little room like this. There's floor, there's a mirror on the floor, there's a mirror in the wall, mirror on the top, and in the center you light a candle. What do you see? You see thousands of candles. But you take the central candle away, what do you see? Nothing, darkness. So we are the center candle. What is the self is the center candle from which all is illuminated. Abli Allah, Kabir says this, Abla Allah, Nuru Paya, Kudrati ke sambandhe. From one light, he says, all has come to be. From one light, Abli Allah, Nuru Paya, Kudrati ke sambandhe. Ek nur se sab jag upja. Are kaun bhale o kaun mande. From one light, all has come to be. Who's good? Who's bad? These are all phantoms of your own mind. So let's see the oneness again and again. This one again, very beautiful piece, the idea of oneness. You see that oneness everywhere, that all life, all creation, reflection of the one. And that's what the great vision. Say, Kabira kuan ek hai, pani bharai anek. He says, from one well, all of us draw water. With different vessels, but the water is the same. We are all different vessels, but the water is the same. Kabira kuan ek hai, pani bharai anek, bhanda hi mein bhed hai, pani sab mein ek. See, only difference is the vessels are different, but the water of the great consciousness, Sat, Chit, is the same. So, Kabira kuan ek hai, pani bharai anek, bhanda hi mein bhed hai, pani sab mein ek. So again, Kabir says again and again, he says, I say only what I've seen with my own eyes. मैं कहता आंखन की देखी, तू कहता पोथी की लेखी. I say only what I've seen with my own eyes. You keep quoting the books. I say he's everywhere, but you keep hiding him in the scriptures. How can I pass across? मैं कहता आंखन की देखी, तू कहता पोथी की लेखी. मैं कहता सिरझा बनहारी, तू राख्यो अरुझाई रे. तेरा मेरा मिलन कैसे एक होई रे, तेरा मेरा मिलन कैसे एक होई रे. He says it again and again. He's always confronting the scholars, always pandits and scholars. He कहता पोथी पढ़ पढ़ जगमुआ, Pandit bhaya na koi. There's many scholars who read all the books, but rarely there is a man of knowledge. There are many scholars who read all the books, but rarely there is a man of knowledge. To be a man of knowledge, you need to read only one word, and that word is love. Pothi pad pad jagmua, pandit bhaya na koi. Pothi pad pad jagmua, पंडित भया न कोई. ढाई आखर प्रेम का, पढ़ाई सो पंडित होए, पढ़ाई सो पंडित होए. Again, says again, लिखा लिखी की है नहीं, अरे देखा देखी की बात. It's not a matter of reading and writing. It's opening your eyes. It's opening your eyes. And then he says, it's so beautiful. He says, when the bride is in the arms of her lover, who gives a damn about the wedding party? Marriage party. You see, and Indians have big marriage parties. They have fun, a lot of fun, a lot of this and that. But say that's fun. But real union is the union of the bride and the groom. Okay? They कहता है लिखा लिखी की है नहीं, अरे देखा देखी की बात. It's not a matter of reading and writing. It's opening your eyes and seeing. When the लिखा लिखा लिखी की है नहीं, देखा देखी की बात. दुल्हा को दुल्हन मिली गयो, अरे फीकी पड़ी बारात. दुल्हा को दुल्हन मिली गयो, फीकी पड़ी बारात. When the bride is in the arms of her lover, who gives a damn about the wedding party? Then these three pieces, because the Kabir refers a lot of it to water. Three pieces, very beautiful. And they're connected with each other. Herat herat he sakhi, raha Kabir hirai. He says, I searched for him everywhere, but to no avail. Why? Because when a drop becomes part of the ocean, who can say what is what? The second one, he says, I searched for him everywhere, but to no avail. Why? Because when the ocean becomes part of the drop, who can say what is what? The name of my book is called The Ocean in a Drop. So the second one, when the ocean becomes part of the drop, who can say what is what? And the third one, third piece, third couplet. He says, how a drop becomes part of the ocean, that everybody can understand. But how ocean becomes part of the drop, that only a rare man can comprehend. So three pieces, very beautiful. Herat, herat, he sakhi. Herat, herat, he sakhi. Raha Kabir herai. I can't find him anywhere. Herat, herat, he sakhi. Raha Kabir herai. Boond samana samadana. Abkat he jai. When the drop becomes part of the ocean, who can say what is what? Herat, herat, he sakhi. Raha Kabir herai. Boond samana samadana. Abkat he jai. Herat, herat, he sakhi. Raha Kabir herai. Samad samana boond mein. Abkat he jai. Now the ocean becomes part of the drop. Who can say what is what? And then it says, Boond samana samadana. Are jane sab koi. Everybody understands how a drop becomes part of the ocean. Boond samana samadana. Are jane sab koi. Samad samana boond mein. Bujhe birla koi. Only a rare man can comprehend. What is that? How it becomes part. Then this one, very beautiful. Again, the whole idea. What is sleep? What is a dream? What is reality? What is an illusion? And Kabir has explored it in beautiful poetry. Some of this beautiful, beautiful piece here, what I shared with you. It says, Sapne mein sai mile, sobat diya jagaye. In a dream, in the middle of night, my beloved woke me from my sleep. Inner sleep. In a dream, in the middle of night, my beloved woke me from my sleep. Now I'm so afraid to open my eyes, lest it was only a dream. So it plays this incredible, plays this, what is waking up. Buddha says, I'm awake, I've woken up. So Kabir says, he woke me from my sleep. Now I'm afraid to open my eyes, lest it was only a dream. Sapne mein sai mile, sapne mein sai mile, sobat liya jagaye, jaga liya, she woke me. Sapne mein sai mile, sobat liya jagaye, aankh na kholu dar pata, kahin sapna na ho jaye. Now I'm so afraid to open my eyes, lest it turns out to be only a dream. So really, this is an incredible, so much psychological research and dreams and awakening. What is sleep? What is waking? What is consciousness? What is subconscious? What is collective consciousness? What is cosmic consciousness? So these are incredible questions and incredible. And so one has an experience of that. So you are on a different level of being. So he says, he's also written about time and death. And so, Dehe dhare ka dand hai, sabka hu ko hoye. He says, everyone that lives dies. That is the nature of things. Dehe dhare ka dand hai, sabka hu ko hoye. Jnani suche gyan se, murak juje roye. He said, a wise man sees it's not the end of things. Whereas a fool thinks this is the end of the road. So, dehe dhare ka dand hai, sabka hu ko hoye. Jnani suche gyan se, murak bujhe roye. Then again, Kabir is quoted so much, not only for his spiritual insights, for everyday morals, ethics. He's quoted more than anybody else I know of in India, or indeed in the world. And people sometimes take his name to say, Kabir says so. And just like say Confucius says so, Buddha says so. We don't always know if Buddha said so, or Confucius said so, but we ascribe that is what Kabir. So he's quoted in the parliaments, he's quoted in colleges, he's quoted by the peasants, quoted by everybody. So dhire dhire o mana, dhire dhire re mana, dhire dhire sab kuch hoye, mali sinche sobhara, ritu aaye phal hoye. Say everything works at its own good pace. Just because a gardener can flood his orchard with water, a fruit will ripen only in season. Dhire dhire o mana, dhire dhire sab kuch hoye, mali sinche soghra, ritu aaye phal hoye. The fruit ripens only in season. You can flood the orchard with water. Then this one, very again, as I said, where he was debated whether he was a Muslim or Hindu. The story is that he was tortured by the orthodoxy of both religions. He was tortured, he was harassed, he was tormented. There were all kinds of stories about him. The story is also that when he died, they discover what an incredible man he was. So they're now fighting over his body. The Muslims say, we want to bury him, because that's what they do with a dead body. And Hindus say, we want to cremate him. That's what the Hindus do. So the story goes, the legend has it, that when they removed the shroud, there was no body. Only a heap of flowers. So half the flowers were buried and half were cremated. So if you go to Varanasi, there are two places. And the Muslims say, this is where he's buried. And the Hindus say, this is where he was cremated. That's what. So, but he made fun of the orthodoxy. He says, Kankar Pathar Jodi Ke. Kankar Pathar Jodi Ke Masjid Lahi Chunai. He said, look at them, these Muslims. They piled the stones and bricks and made into a beautiful mosque. And there on the top, the mullah shouts the name of God. Do you think God is deaf? Why do you shout? Just as he made fun of Hindus, say, Mund Mundai Harimila, if by shaving your head you could see the face of God. So he says, why do you shout? Is God deaf? He can listen everything. Mund Mundai Harimila. So, Mund Mundai Harimila. Skankar Pathar Jodi Ke Masjid Lahi Chunai. Taan Chadiya Mullah Bang De. Kya behra hua Khudai? Is God deaf? Then he was against idol worship. He was so much idol worship. He was against anything that he felt was hypocrisy, that people refusing to see within, it's real search of the divine. So he says, Pathar Puje Hari Milai. If by worshipping a stone you could see the face of God, I would rather worship a mountain. Or better still, a grindstone. At least it grinds the wheat and feeds the poor. What good is the other stone? You can see how he got into trouble with so many people. So, Patthar Puja Hari Milai, Tumai Puju Pahade, Tate Wo Chakki Bhari. Just a piece of khai sansara. He said, better still, why not worship a grindstone that feeds the world? Then this one very beautiful pieces again. Hari hai khandu reit nahi. He says God's presence is like grains of sugar in a pile of sand. God's presence is like grains of sugar in a pile of sand. An elephant cannot pick them, but a little ant knows the way. Truth, my friends, is very subtle. Be humble to seek it. Hari hai khandu reit mahi. Haath chuni na jaye, kahe Kabir, Guru bhali bujhai, chinti hoy ke khai. He said, be a little ant. He said, an elephant cannot pick us. God's presence is like grains of sugar in a pile of sand. An elephant cannot pick them, but a little ant knows the way. Truth, my friends, is very subtle. Be humble to seek it. Hari hai khandu, reit mahi, haath chuni na jaye, kahe Kabir, Guru bhali bujhai. Chinti hoy ke khai. Then he says, and a lot of people here, we have sometime pottery festivals, people making pottery. I share with them a very beautiful line that Kabir says. Kabira Guru Kumar Shish Kumbha hai. A teacher, a guru is like a potter, and a student is like a pot. See how he beats from the outside, but he sports from the inside, so a beautiful pot can be created. Guru Kumar Shish Kumbha hai. Gadi gadi kaadhe khot. You see, he finds faults all the time. So, he Guru Kumar Shish Kumbha hai. Gadi gadi kaadhe khot. Antar haath saharde. Bahir mare chot. Bahir mare chot. Guru Kumar. This again very often quoted, very beautiful. So he says, my teacher, my guru and my master, Lord, both are standing here before me. To whom shall I bow first? What is a good etiquette? But God is here, Guru is here. Who should I bow first? He says, bow before the Guru, because it is he who has opened the door to God. That's why Sikhs call it Gurudwara. It's the door to God, Gurudwara. A Sikh temple is called Gurudwara. Some of you know, Gurudwara. So Guru, the door to God, Gurudwara. So कहता है गुरु गोविंद दोनों खड़े काके लागू पाए बलिहारी इस गुरु की जो गोविंद देव दिखाए जो गोविंद देव दिखाए. You know, the story about how a deer is wandering in the forest and he wonders there's a beautiful smell coming out, fragrance coming out. He does not know where it's coming from, but it is within him and he's wandering all over the forest and it smells. He says, same is true of us human beings. God is within, yet we go to temples and mosques and thinking we're going to find him there. So he says, Kasturi Kundali Vasai. Kasturi Kundali Vasai Mrigatunda Vanmahi. Kasturi, the source of fragrance is within the deer, but he wanders all over the forest in his search. Same is true. Kasturi Kundali Vasai Mrigatunda Vanmahi. ऐसे घट घट राम है दुनिया देखे नाही दुनिया देखे नाही. Same is true that God is within this, the source of the prime being is within. Then this one is very beautiful again, the story about how a pearl is formed. In the story in India, there's a pearl. How is a pearl formed? In the oyster. So it's formed and a special rain falls under Swati moon, under a special configuration of stars. And then it falls and becomes a pearl. Otherwise the rain can fall, it doesn't become a pearl. So he says, I am like that pearl, waiting for that special moment where it will be formed. But before that, otherwise I'm in the ocean, but I'm thirsty. And you see this in Indian songs, in a film song. They say, मैं नदिया फिर भी मैं प्यासी. I'm a river, even then I'm thirsty. It's from a film called Madhumati. मैं नदिया फिर भी मैं प्यासी भेद ये गहरा बात जरा सी आप मेरे जीवन साथी. I'm a river, even then I'm thirsty. Oh, it's a simple thing to say, but it's an incredible secret. Oh, I'm waiting for my beloved. So it's a beautiful song. So here then Kabir says, Kabira seep samandaki Rata pyas pyas. You see, the oyster is in the ocean, but it is thirsty, waiting for that drop that will become a pearl. Kabira seep samandaki Rata pyas pyas. Samadhi tinka bari gine. Swati bund ki yas, waiting for that drop to become a pearl. As I said, he's always, what makes him so different from many other visionary poets is exposes the hypocrisy again and again. Phuti aankh bhavek ki lakhay sant ya sant. He says, what a mire the world is lost in. It does not know a saint from a charlatan. Who's real, who's just a fake. Phuti aankh bhavek ki lakhay sant ya sant. Jaake sang das bhis hai. Tako nam mahant. Just because a group of followers follow him, he becomes a saint. What a hypocrisy. Phuti aankh bhavek ki lakhay sant ya sant. Jata sang das bhis hai. Tako nam mahant. Again it says, Kam krodh mad lobh ki jab tak ghar mein khan. Kya moorkh kya pandit dono ek saman. He says, so long one is obsessed with lust and desire and pettiness and smallness, it's no difference between a pandit and a fool. It's the same. So that's how he would do. Ju nainana mein putli, just like the pupil is in the eye. Tyu khalik mantra, I saw God, the divine is within. Yet fools don't know and they wander all over the earth looking for him. So ju nainana mein putli, tyu khalik mahi, मूर्ख लोग न जाने बाहर ढूंढ न जाने. They wander all over the earth. But this one here, very beautiful. कुंभ में जल है, जल में कुंभ. I am like a piece of clay, pot of clay, floating in the great ocean of consciousness. There is water inside me, there is water outside me. And suddenly, with the touch of the master, this pot is broken. What is inside? What is outside? It's all one. कुंभ में जल है, जल में कुंभ, बाहर भीतर पानी। कुंभ में जल है, जल में कुंभ, बाहर भीतर पानी। फुटा कुंभ, जल जल ही समान। यह तत्व कहे ज्ञानी। That's what the truth is. What is inside, what is outside, it's all one. कुंभ में जल है, जल में कुंभ, बाहर भीतर पानी। फुटा कुंभ, जल जल ही समान। यह तत्व कहे ज्ञानी। So, thank you. I'll finish up that. Okay? Thank you so much. I wish to thank Varun and Anushka for accompaniment, and thank you all of you.